You're watching local coverage you can count on. This is Wayne 15 News, first at 5.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We start with breaking news out of Ohio. Right now, Paulding County Police are investigating a plane crash. Witnesses tell Wayne 15 it happened near the intersection of County Road 138 and 163 near the Auglaize River just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now take a look. These are photos a viewer sent us of the plane. The Paulding County Sheriff's Department is handling this investigation. We do have a crew on the way. We'll keep you updated here and on Wayne.com. After a break from snow and rain, Mother Nature is about to give us a 1-2 punch. It's going to be an active weather night and weekend across the area. We have team coverage of this upcoming winter blast. We start with Nicholas for a first look at the forecast.
Okay, so the situation hasn't changed all that much. The forecast remains on track. A winter weather advisory in effect for tonight into tomorrow, all because we have snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain all occurring, which will result in some tricky travel conditions across the entire region. Here's a look at expected snow amounts. The lowest amounts will be found down to the south, around an inch or so. We get up into 2 to 3 inches in Fort Wayne and Allen County, perhaps as high as 6 to 7 inches for our far northern spots. Timing is everything here because warmer air will be moving in to change the snow over to rain. That's why the more southern spots see the lowest totals. They get the warmer air first. Right now, we have clouds increasing and some snow starting to show up on the western edges of the map. The snow really won't start falling in our area until another hour or two. Then it picks up in intensity as we get into late night and starts accumulating. A lot of moisture headed in, and that's why the entire area is in store for wintry weather tonight and then into tomorrow. Temperatures sit in the 20s now, 28 degrees in Fort Wayne, but this is some of our coldest air of the night. The temperatures slowly rise as we make our way to morning with temperatures rising to freezing and above. And tomorrow during the day, well above freezing. I'm back with the hour-by-hour timing of all of this when I see you in a few minutes.
Nicholas, thanks. Of course, preparations underway around the area today ahead of the wintry weather that arrives later this evening. Wayne 15's Joe Struess talked with a few local officials to find out what's being done to keep you safe. Joe?
Yeah, good evening, Tara. The incoming wintry mess will create hazards on the roads, and you'll want to be sure to allow extra time for any traveling over the coming days. The Indiana Department of Transportation was working hard to ensure that state roads are prepped and ready for the slick conditions that will ensue. I talked with representatives from both INDOT and the city of Fort Wayne about what specifically has been done to keep the roads in decent shape once the precipitation starts.
Phase 1 began this morning. Those trucks out there doing the salt brining. Phase 2 is when we activate our resources. That's when we call those yellow trucks and get them on the road. Then we'll move into what we call cleanup mode. Doesn't look like we'll have to do a lot of cleanup because it's going to get warm and it's going to melt off. So Mother Nature is going to do the cleaning up for us.
Starting yesterday and also today, we've been using our liquid brine on the streets and the intersections and on overpasses to pre-treat those areas. To make sure that we can have as limited amount of ice as possible, but motorists should still be cautious because even when we pre-treat, you're still going to have icy patches and people just need to always slow down whenever we have a winter event.
Along with what Frank said, be sure to allow a few extra moments when coming to a stop and simply use extra caution if traveling. While driving through Fort Wayne, you can tell what streets have been pre-treated if you notice lines on the pavement. That's the liquid brine they were talking about. In Studio 15, Joe Struess, Wayne 15 News.
Got it, Joe. Thank you. Fort Wayne police are investigating 2 armed robberies that happened in a 5-hour span overnight. The first happened at the Marathon on South Coliseum Boulevard around 11:30 last night. The clerk told police a man with a handgun stole cash from 2 registers and from a customer inside. He then ran out the back door. Officers and canine units tried to track down the suspect but were not able to find him. About 5 hours later, around 4:40, there was a second armed robbery, this one at the Marathon on Lower Huntington Road near Winchester Road. Police say a similar situation unfolded there. A man wearing a mask and dark clothes threatened the clerk with a handgun. He stole money, cigarettes, and a few other items before running out the back door. Again, officers tried to track the suspect but came up empty. A detective tells Wayne 15 they are working to determine if the same person is responsible for both crimes. The trial of a Fort Wayne man accused of a 2016 murder has been announced after his last trial ended in a hung jury. 19-year-old Devin Yancey was acquitted of robbery earlier this month, but the jury was hung on murder and felony murder charges. His trial stems from the August 2016 robbery and murder of 18-year-old Brian Quintana. According to court documents, Yancey and another man, Kevin Hamilton, went to meet Quintana to buy marijuana. The three got into an argument leading to Quintana's death. Hamilton has already been sentenced to 74 years in prison for his role in the crime. Yancey's new trial is slated for June and expected to last 3 days. Royal Caribbean says a northern Indiana man knew a window was open just moments before he picked up his step-granddaughter and lost his grip. The 18-month-old fell to her death in July. Her family is suing the cruise line for negligence. According to court documents, Royal Caribbean says video proof shows the grandfather knew the window was open, even showing him leaning his upper body out of the window before picking up the toddler. Royal Caribbean also included images from their surveillance video in the lawsuit. They say there are 2 closed-circuit television cameras that captured the events leading to the fall. For the latest on the investigation, you can head to Wayne.com. Pier 1 Imports is closing one of its Fort Wayne locations as part of the company's widespread effort to reduce its store footprint. Signs on the windows of the store inside the Apple Glen Crossing Shopping Center read "Store closing" and "Everything on sale." Earlier this month, the company said it was closing up to 450 locations to, quote, better align its business with the current operating environment. Pier 1's Fort Wayne Coldwater Road location will remain open. A Fort Wayne family is sending many thanks to friends, family, and strangers for their generosity. The Hardesty family has been through a lot these past few months. As Wayne 15 Sierra Tufts explains, they have a lot to be thankful for this week.
Just last week, the Hardesty family was still traveling to Indianapolis to see their 2-month-old baby girl, Blair. She's home now, and it's one less thing Rachel and Jeff Hardesty have to worry about. Jeff and Rachel are squeezing their little one extra tight after her 2-month stay at the NICU. She was born 2 months early. At 7 months pregnant, Rachel learned she had been diagnosed with brain cancer a second time. 3 days after her C-section for Blair, she had brain surgery, all while her husband took care of the couple's toddler, Lewis. 7 years ago, Rachel was diagnosed with a completely separate brain cancer. Doctors advised she and Jeff not to have kids. The couple put their faith in God and welcomed Lewis with no problems. Now, all 4 are home while she is still fighting her cancer diagnosis. But she's got a brave attitude.
Okay, we're going to do what needs to be done because, again, I've got 2 miracle babies, and I'm going to fight this thing because God gave them to me, and I want to be the one to help my husband raise them. And so, again, clearly I'm a person of faith. I believe in God, and I know that He'll bring me through this. And He did the last time, why wouldn't He this time? And even if He doesn't, God's good.
Rachel is currently undergoing chemo and radiation. She and Jeff send their continued thanks to everyone in the community. The couple were the winners of WMEE's Christmas Break-In, a free year of diapers thanks to actress Kristen Bell, and they thank the countless people that have donated to their GoFundMe. In Studio 15, Sierra Tufts, Wayne 15 News.
Sierra, thank you. The Fort Wayne Mad Ants are celebrating Black History Month with an essay contest. The team is sponsoring it for middle and high school students in Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio. Students should write up to 500 words, no less than 250, about a prominent African-American figure who has a Fort Wayne connection. In the essay, describe how that person has positively impacted our community and how students can do so as well. I'll help select the finalists. 2 winners will get a Mad Ants prize package that includes tickets to a game and appearances right here on Wayne TV. 3 Rivers Federal Credit Union is also awarding 2 mobile tablets. The Mad Ants say this contest is an important teaching tool for today's youth.
Not only celebrate where we've come from and our history, but to have voices from our youth in our community because they are our future and we want them to know that they have a voice and to be able to do research to learn more about their history and put it out there.
You have until Monday, January 20th to submit your essay, just a few days left. You can find the link on our website, wayne.com. Coming up on First at 5, President Trump updates federal guidelines for prayer in public schools and other initiatives aimed at protecting religious freedom. Plus, the stage is set for the president's impeachment trial, which resumes Tuesday. We'll have the latest from Washington when your number 1 News at 5 returns. All right, right now we have an update on that breaking news that we told you about at the top of our newscast. Our crews have found the plane that crashed in Paulding County, Ohio. Right now you're looking at a live look at the scene. It happened near the intersection of County Road 138 and 163 near the Auglaize River just before 4 this afternoon. We are working to learn more about the crash. We'll provide you the newest information once we get it, both here on air and online at WANE.com. After a ceremonial start, the impeachment trial of President Trump resumes Tuesday. But before opening arguments can begin, senators must finalize the rules. Earlier today, the president added new members to his impeachment defense team. But Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal lawyer, will not be part of that team. Before opening arguments can begin, senators must still vote on the rules for the impeachment trial, and they're expected to debate whether new witnesses should be heard. The Trump administration says they are updating federal laws for prayer in public schools to reduce discrimination against people and groups of faith. The changes include proposing new rules from 9 federal agencies on social services programs, updating federal guidance on prayer in public schools, and instructing federal agencies to ensure states don't condition grants of federal funds, quote, in a manner that would disadvantage grant applicants based on their religious character, end quote. The updated guidance will require state departments of education to provide a clear process for people to report complaints that individuals were denied constitutionally protected prayer. President Trump calls the new guidance the right to pray. Today, more than 200 businesses in Allen County rely on alcohol sales for at least part of their income. A century ago, that was not the case. Prohibition started on this date 100 years ago. In a WANE.com exclusive, Chris Darby looks through local news coverage when the constitutional ban on alcohol began. From suggestions that a better life was on the way to a bust of 80 gallons of whiskey, the Journal-Gazette and News Sentinel headlines covered the historic moment in time. Browse through the papers right now on WANE.com. Making headlines today, the weather.
All about the weather, yes. We've got snow to track. We have rain and also some sleet and freezing rain in between. You can see the storm approaching. Weather's next.
Local coverage you can count on continues with Chief Meteorologist Nicholas Ferreri's live Doppler 15 Fury forecast.
I start off tonight with the latest snapshot from our Kosciuszko Community Hospital camera in Warsaw, because Warsaw will be one of our first WANE 15 cities to experience some snow. And you can see nothing happening there at present. The snow just starting to inch into northeast Indiana and northwest Ohio. It will be very light at first. It's going to wait really a couple hours before it picks up in intensity and falls across the majority of the area. Plenty of clouds around. Those clouds have increased thanks to the approach of this system. And you can see all of the moisture that lies off to the west. This system is going to be pretty much impossible for us to avoid. Remember, it's not all snow. Warmer air moves in overnight, changing it over to sleet, freezing rain, and eventually all rain during the morning tomorrow as temperatures rise above freezing. Right now, our current temperature of 28 will be one of our lowest temperatures of the evening here. It feels like 16 with winds breezy from the east at 17 miles per hour. And with this storm moving through, wind gusts tomorrow will be anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour from daytime into night. So it is going to be a windy 24-hour period for us. 25 in Angola now, 28 in Warsaw, 28 also in Bluffton and Huntington. Hartford City, the only spot that checks in at 30. On Futurecast tonight, you can see how we're dry now, but within just a few hours, the snow becomes a little bit more common around here. This is 8 o'clock, some scattered snow, including some pockets of heavier snow. This will be a common occurrence for us during the overnight with the snow moving in, so that will help the snow accumulate. The closer and closer we head toward morning, well, that's when the warmer air starts to move in to work to change the change the snow over to rain. That's going to happen first in our southern spots. Marion seeing rain at 3 in the morning. More of a mix from Warsaw down through Portland, and then snow from Fort Wayne northeast at that time. We get closer and closer to sunrise, and we still have a mixture of precipitation types falling across the area. Rain expands, but still this mix most likely to the north. Now, I want you to know, when it comes to these maps, and you look at this, you say 5 a.m., oh, it's already raining in Fort Wayne. The roads are probably going to be A-OK. All is going to be determined by just a couple degrees. So it is possible that we could see this rain-snow line fluctuate a little bit, and it could still be icy in Fort Wayne at that point. In fact, I would expect and prepare for some icy patches on roads, especially in northern spots, till about 9, 10 o'clock or so. Once we head toward lunchtime, well, then it'll be rain everywhere. Morning time temperatures anywhere from 30 to 35 in most spots. We will be warmer down to the south. And during the day tomorrow, high temperatures will actually rise in the 40s. That's why as we get toward lunchtime, well, it's easy to see why it'll be rain everywhere and ice won't be a worry. Rain chances hang on through the afternoon. The rain lightens up, though. Colder air rushes in behind this, and it becomes all snow. But this snow in the evening will be scattered, and lake-affected nature won't be as high likelihood of accumulation as what we see in the morning. 35 at 8 in the morning. At noon, 40. By 4 o'clock, we're going to see those temperatures drop down into the low 30s. Remember these futurecast snow amounts. By the time we get to our Saturday morning, that should say Saturday at 9, we will have 1 inch about down to the south. We could see some spots 6 to 7 inches far to the north. But remember, some of that will be melting away with the rain and the rising temperature. So the later you sleep in the morning, the more likely you are to have lower amounts than those when you wake up and look outside. Then on Sunday, that's a dry day for us, but it is really cold around here. Take a look at the change on the 10-day forecast. From 41 tomorrow to only 18 on Sunday. We start off the new week with temperatures in the 20s, but end the week in the 40s.
Sounds rough.
A little bit.
Thanks, Nicholas. Coming up on Wayne 15, tonight's hoops action could determine who emerges as conference champs. We'll preview your game of the week and the rest of the games we're covering on the Highlight Zone tonight at 6. But first, your Fitbit could help in a flu outbreak. We'll explain how when your number one News at 5 returns.
Local coverage you can count on continues with Tara Brantley and Dirk Rowley. You're watching Wayne 15 News, first at 5.
Can your wearable device do more than just track your steps and monitor your heart rate? In tonight's story for your well-being, Reed Binion has a new study that might have you thinking twice about what it can do.
It's probably the most popular fitness tracker on the market, and now your Fitbit could help predict when you'll get the flu. And with its data sharing, it could even help health officials predict outbreaks. Scripps Research Translational Institute analyzed data of 47,000 users who wore their Fitbits consistently between March 2016 and March 2018 in 5 states. They monitored changes in users' average heart rate and sleeping patterns to identify when the user could have the flu. Someone suffering from the flu tends to have an elevated heart rate and changes in their sleep pattern. Researchers then compared the data to weekly flu reports in their states, put out by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The result, essentially real-time flu prediction. Since response time is key when it comes to disease outbreaks, the authors of the study hope this can be used to improve response time for cities and states to react to flu outbreaks. As technology becomes more advanced, perhaps even getting daily instead of weekly updates. Traditional surveillance reporting can take 1 to 3 weeks, limiting the ability for a quick response. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
Coming up, Nicholas and the winter blast that's on the way.
Okay, so the wintry weather gets going in just a couple hours. Then we see the snow change over to sleet and freezing rain relatively briefly, but it will be a few hours. That's brief in this setup. And then eventually all rain tomorrow as the temperatures rise into the 40s. 41, our high temperature tomorrow. On Sunday, so much colder. Our temperature in the morning, well, the temperature 18. We could be as low as 10 as the day gets going. Then down to 12 into Monday. Monday, our temperature 24. Tuesday, 27. Up to 40 by the end of the week.
Nicholas, thanks. And thanks for watching. We're back here at 6.